All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Top Line. It's your boy Chris, and well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna come straight out and get right to the point. First of all, how y'all doing, man? Hope everybody's having a great hump day. Get over the hump. It's Wednesday. I'm gonna get right to it, man. I might have put my foot in my mouth. Man. I thought for sure that point guard position was Scotty Barnes for the taking. I was like, oh, Scotty got those when he gonna be the starting point guard, and then something just felt different watching Shroder and Darko interaction. I didn't, and I'm gonna be straight up honest. I'm not gonna lie. I did not know Darko and Dennis Shroder had such a deep connection back to the Oklahoma City days. So I think Shroder may be front running for that starting point guard position. Now we know he can be a starting point guard in this league. We've seen him do it before. And man, when you hear Dennis say things like, excuse me, when you hear Dennis say things like, "Yo, the minute you got the job," I was like, I started thinking it'd be a great fit. When he was talking to Darko, it didn't feel like a coach player thing. It felt like a friendship was there. I could be wrong, but it felt like a real, like, it wasn't like, hey man, how to see. It was hugs. It was, they start breaking down, saying how grateful they were for each other. I think Dennis Shroder might be the starting point guard. And I could be wrong. We're gonna see how all this plays out, man. But I think he might be your starting point guard. I really do, because you know how, especially, and the reason why I think he is front running, and I didn't see this until now because I didn't know all this. But the reason why I think he could be front running for that point guard position is because, for one, when you're a new coach, you're coming into a new position, first time head coach, bunch of new guys, new country, everything. When it comes to Darko, one of the first things is you need something that feels familiar, a player that you can kind of rely on, someone that kind of already may not be the same system, but may kind of know the system, you used to the language, used to the voice. I think Dennis Shroder probably start off at this year's point guard, man. I got no problem with that. Even though I want to see Scotty, because I think Scotty Barnes want that position. I think Scotty Barnes want to be a point guard. We'll see how it pans out. But much of they talk about the ball in Scotty's hands, the offense running through Scotty and all of that. I think Dennis Shroder may have that initial edge, though, man. I could be wrong, but to me, it felt like Darko would give Dennis Shroder that shot. Because let me tell you something, Dennis Shroder wants to be a starting point guard. He's not a fan of coming off the bench. I learned that in the Lakers days. When his first stint with the Lakers, he literally said in an interview, "Yo, that coming off the bench stuff, I'm kind of done with that." Now that didn't work out the way, but you got to remember that same team that had LeBron James on it. That was pretty much a de facto point guard. But Dennis Shroder said, "I'm not coming off the bench, man. That's my one condition." So I'm interested to know if he made this condition with the Raptors, saying, "Hey, man, I'll come over, man. I don't want to come off the bench, though." He want to be a starter in this league. He feel he's a starting caliber player. I think he is a starting caliber player. Hell, if I'm choosing, but anyway, I ain't finna diss D'Angelo. So anyway, but nah, man. I think after watching this, man, I really think that Dennis Shroder probably is going to start off at point guard. Now, if it don't work out, don't go the way it's planned, then you go back, then you can kind of revert back to bringing him off the bench if need be. But I just think the relationship that I did not know existed between these two. And even with, I love the fact that we know, first of all, he just got signed because of whatever passport delays and stuff he had going on. Glad he's in the six. But I didn't know that. I forgot about the OG thing when he flipped Dennis Shroder. I forgot about that. I was like, that popped up. The missus was showing me that today. She was like, "Oh, they were talking about it," and I think OG said it was a flop. It was more of something, because OG is not that type of player. Like, it's just not. Even because I watched it again, when he flipped him, he kind of reached down to make sure he was okay, and of course people took it however they took it. But the fact that those two could come together and laugh off of that and joke, and I'm quite sure that's been water on the bridge. But the fact that they can kind of laugh it off, and I love it, man. You talking about a competitive person, man. You talking about someone that's gonna bring it. That's gonna, again, we'll see how all this out, but watching the interaction between Darko and Dennis Schroeder, I genuinely think that Dennis Schroeder will be your new point guard, man, your new starting point guard. It's hard to see a scenario where he don't, because unless you say Scotty Barnes, because if it ain't Scotty Barnes, if you ain't saying Scotty Barnes starting off as your point guard, then you're saying Dennis Schroeder. If it ain't Scotty Barnes, it's Dennis Schroeder. So one of those are going to be your starting point guard. And if you ask me, I mean, from a defensive perspective, especially with Scotty Barnes' emphasis on being Defensive Player of the Year, man, I got to be honest. I really believe that it's a great pairing. I want to see Scotty Barnes get this starting all that point guard. Yeah. But Dennis Schroeder gonna bring that tenacity. He gonna bring that energy. He gonna bring that effort. And I'm just interested to see how he embraced the six, because I often say this, man. And I could be, again, guys. Look, if I'm wrong, call me out. But I think it's a unique perspective to play for the Raps, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because you got an entire country rooting behind you when you're on that team. Like, it's different, bro. Like, you're in the state, you're a Laker fan. Hey, you got some Laker fans here, Salt Springer there. You know what I'm saying? You're running to a Clipper fan that don't. In the six, is Raptors or nothing. Like, I'm quite sure some people that like other teams, but for the most part, it's such such an embrace. Just from my little time being there, man. My interaction with the few people that I was able to talk to and kick it with, and talk to at the game and stuff like that, man. I've never experienced love like that. Like, for little old me. So I can just imagine, as a Raptor player, the love had to be genuine. The love probably can be overwhelming at times when you accept the city and the city accept you. But it's interesting, man. I think this gonna be. I think they're gonna be one. I book them. They're gonna be a top defensive team in the East. They're gonna be one of. I ain't say the top. But they're gonna be at least a top 5 defensive team in the NBA. I think, or not just the East, in the NBA as a total. I don't see how it can't be. OG, you add Dennis Schroeder to that, because Dennis Schroeder ain't the biggest, but he's a dog on defense. He's a dog on defense. You add him, you add OG, you add Scotty Barnes, you add Pirtle, you got Siakam. Oh, man, hey, look. The thing is how Darko handled the offense, get guys easier looks, and I think Dennis Schroeder will help with that too, because he can finish around the rim. He can finish around the rim, and he got that little fake out in drive that he loved, that works, that's damn near unstoppable, that sometimes you wish he used more. Man, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, man. I'm excited for the NBA season. The summer league starting to wind down. So, with that being said, guys, let me know though. Do you think Dennis Schroeder be a starting point guard? With that being said, guys, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Till next time, you gotta be great, man.